Is the charge right? Full charge is there.
Plus we are putting charge also.
Okay, but I think we'll put it. His voice is not capturing.
Oh.
We'll put it front.
Okay, yeah.
That's why I brought it as
There is an extension cord here.
Okay, no, I think
Take it. Don't take it. Put it. You got extension cord, plenty.
people might take
I got 100 feet extension cord.
So if you're joining us today for the first time, we are seeing Narada Bhakti Sutra. I hope you can hear me there. Today I have to compete with the thunder. It's a small area, so you should be able to hear me. Okay. We'll chant from Sutra number 1, where we started yesterday. Please try to repeat the words after me. Tathato bhaktim Vyakhyasyamaha Satvasmin parama prema rupa Amrita swarupacha Yallabdva
यल्लब्ध्वा
पुमान् सिद्धो भवति
पुमान् सिद्धो भवति
अमृतो भवति
अमृतो भवति
तृप्तो भवति
तृप्तो भवति
यत्प्राप्य
यत्प्राप्य
न किञ्चित्
न किञ्चित्
वाञ्छति
वाञ्छति
न शोचति
न शोचति
न द्वेष्टि
न द्वेष्टि
न रमते
न रमते
नोत्साही भवति
नोत्साही भवति.
This is where we have to see today. Where we reached. So, in the previous, better we see from beginning for those who are not here. Tathato bhaktim vyakhyasamaha. Narad Muni says, now therefore, it means after having developed all of these spiritual qualities, having developed vivek also, discriminative power. Having developed this discriminative power, now we will see we will have a commentary on exposition on Bhakti. Bhakti is given in the second case, the objective case. We see Bhakti. This Bhakti is what? Satu asmin parama prema rupa. It is of the nature of supreme devotion, supreme love, prema. Supreme love in this reality. Supreme love for the reality. The word which is used here is called a pronoun. Asmin. In this. See, and this is, look here, you all know, in Bhakti Marg, there is always some name for God, isn't it? Krishna, Rama, Muruga. In the path of devotion, there is always some name for God. What's called a personal God in English language. Personal God. But see here, immediately in the first definition of Bhakti, Narada Bhagavan doesn't put any personal name for God. He says Satu Asmin. Asmin means in this. It's a pronoun used for this reality. Supreme love for this reality. Which reality? The reality which pervades the whole world. Bhagavan Shankaracharya also, and Sri Ramarama Rishi also, if you look at these great sages, they also do not characterize devotion merely as worship to some personal God. You know, Bhagavan Shankaracharya in Vivek Chudamani says, devotion is Swaswar Rupa Anusandhanam. He is more and more meditating as though, Anusandham, sending the mind in the direction of one's own nature. Swaswarupa means our own nature is Satchit, Anand is immortal, imperishable. So sending the mind in that direction, he said that is Bhakti. And Ramana Maharshi said Bhakti is actually thinking about self, nature of the reality, the self itself. So what we have today in the world, which is presented as Bhakti, is all the worship and all the rituals and all of those type of things, right? Puja and singing of bhajans and kirtan and all that, calling the name of God and all such things. But what is being spoken about here is the highest form of Bhakti. Those are all practices that will lead us to this highest form of Bhakti. So in other words, that's where we start. We start by chanting Bhagwan's name. Actually, there are a few little things where we start. We start doing seva, start chanting his name, we start doing little puja, things like that. Seva means you go and do some service somewhere. Like how you come together to put together this yajna. So some people are required to contact everybody, contact the Swami, find out what is requirement, ask which text we'll take, contact the people to get which houses we'll take. Some organization went into it. Somebody had to do some seva. Nobody was paid for that. I hope. So some seva was done there. So it starts with doing some seva, then chanting the name of God. We also started in just now chanting Jai Jai Jai, Mohana, Madhusudana, like that. Shri Krishna. So these are all things that will help us to reach this state of supreme devotion. Parama Prema Rupa is the nature of supreme devotion to the self. And I told you, see, we love little things in life, na? We'll have some love for a little object, little. And then the most love we have, I told yesterday, is for our self. We undoubtedly, told by the rishis and all, undoubtedly we have most love for ourselves and other people after. Though we may say otherwise, that is a different matter. So, see that wife is asking that husband, if I die, you will remarry? Because she wants to find out how much love he has for her, you know. You will get remarried. He said, well, yes, you know, I'm still a young person. I will get remarried. You want me to live alone? He said, no, I'm just asking, you know. I'll get remarried, he said. And you'll allow your new wife to sit in our same car. He said, yes, it's a good car. I will not sell it. And you will allow her to live in our same house. Now she's getting alarmed. You know. Yeah, I'll allow her to stay in this house, our house. And you let her sleep on our same bed. Yeah, good bed. And you let her wear my clothes. He said, no, she's 2 sizes smaller. Serious thing. People really only love themselves, you know. This world, you know, let me tell you something. In Aranya Kanda, in Kishkinda Kanda, Lord Shiva tells this thing to Parvati ji. That people have most love for themselves only. Other people become incidental to our love. I love because they serve some purpose for me. So, the person loves himself the most, but when he comes to discover now, he is not this small little self, but he is an expansive, all-pervasive self. Can you imagine the amount of love he will have? That is called Parama Prema. Love, infinite love. Parama Prema Rupa. So it is a nature of infinite love. But it starts with the other little practices which we have. Satu Asmin Parama Prema Rupa Amrita Swarupa Cha. It is a nature of immortality. There is not some love that comes today and goes tomorrow, you know. The type of love which we have for worldly things. Because I love this thing as long as it works well. You love your new car as long as it works well. But when it shuts down on I-95 in the middle of nowhere in the boonies, then this car and all, oh wow, it gives such misery, you come out and kick the wheel. Isn't it? A typical sight you see on American television shows. They come out and slam the door and kick the same thing which you love, it gives sorrow only. So not that, it is of the nature of Amrita, it is immortal, this love never dies. Okay? Yallabdva puman siddho bhavati. Having acquired it, that person becomes truly accomplished. This is true accomplishment. When I have discovered that I am that all-expansive self, and now love flows in my heart without reason then. Because why do we love ourselves? Is there any reason? There is no reason. We just happen to love ourselves, that is all. There is no reason for that. We love other things for reason. I love this one because they cook food for me. I love that one because they wash my clothes. I love the other one because they tell me nice things. So some reason is there, because. But we love ourselves in spite of having all shortcomings, isn't it? Okay. I may have any durgun, but I still love myself. See that? So much so that I overlook the durgun also. Durgun means some bad qualities. I love myself so much, it blinds me to all my Durgun. And I only see Durgun in other people. One mother crab is telling that daughter crab, what is the matter with you? Why don't you walk straight? You're always walking sideways. But look here, mother doesn't see that she is also walking. You can see other one is walking sideways, but you can't see your own self. This is an amazing thing. So our love for ourselves makes us even overlook our own Durgun and see only the Durgun of others. But this person becomes truly accomplished, Siddho Bhavati, when he has achieved this supreme love. Amrito Bhavati, Tripto Bhavati, we saw that. He becomes immortal and totally contented. Otherwise, we are always looking for something in this world to make us contented. So now if you really look at this well, you will see that this is speaking about nothing but self-realization, which is there in Jnana Marg. When the person comes to discover his own all-pervasive self, then only he'll become Amrita, isn't it? Then only he'll become Triptaha. Only when I have achieved the supreme reality, then can one become Tripta, totally contented. The human being wants happiness, and he wants permanent happiness, and he wants infinite happiness. If his happiness is not permanent, he is not contented. You think, na? If our happiness is there 364 days per year, and that last day we have intense sorrow, nobody will like that. The human being is really a unique creature. I told you, if somebody feeds you 364 days a year, nice food, first class, 5-star treatment, and that last day, no food all day, you starve from morning till, you starve 24 hours. You will see, you never have gratitude. Oh, thank God, at least, all other 364 days I got food. Nobody will say, what is the matter? You want to kill me or what? That is what you will say. You want to kill me? You didn't give me food all day. You starved me to death. Like that. We'll complain about that one day. He's never contented. He wants total happiness, total contentment. Then only he stops. One day if he doesn't have, he'll complain. So the only time a person can become really tripta is when he really realizes this infinite, total, complete self. So what is being presented here as bhakti can very well be presented as jnana also. And the same words are being used also. Now, that person also, see in the next sutra number 5, it says, Yat prapya na kinchit vanchati, na shochati, na dveshti, na ramate, na utsahi bhavati. That means to say, Yat prapya, having attained this state of supreme devotion, coming to see or realize my own self, and because I naturally love myself already, I have so much of love just flowing out of my heart. Not love for anything in particular, just love. You'll see, I'm sure everybody would have experienced at some point in your life that you get up one day and you feel joyous, happy, and you feel love, but you don't know for what reason. You feel so much of joy and so much of happiness in your heart, but you don't know why. Now that thing just taken to an infinite dimension. That is what we are talking about. So he doesn't have, it's not that he has love in particular for anything or for any reason. It's just that he has so much love just naturally. Swabhavik it is called. So having attained that, yat prapya na kinchit vanchati. He doesn't desire anything more. Doesn't want anything more. He doesn't crave anything more. Because remember I told you previously, all craving is for happiness only. Every craving which we have, we perceive that if we acquire that thing which we are craving for, that we will be happy. So now, this person who has found infinite love, infinite bliss, Ananda, who has found infinite self, that self is of the nature of Ananda. Because we were craving objects before to give us Ananda, now he experiences infinite Ananda. Now what he will crave? So, na kinchit vanchati. He doesn't crave anything. Realize people, if something comes, okay. If something goes, okay. Both way, okay. Something doesn't come, okay. Something doesn't go, still, okay. Like Ramana Maharshi or Ramakrishna Paramahamsa, both had cancer. And cancer was not going, okay. See our Gurudev, how many things he had? High blood pressure, diabetes, heart problem, everything. Okay, he's not going. Still okay. In our case, some relative come and he's not going. Not okay. One relative came and he said, I'll stay for 2 days. Then 1 week passed, he didn't go. Then 1 month passed, he didn't go. And he's not working or doing anything, he's just eating. Then that man said, Arey, you said you stay 2 days. Now 1 month passed already and you are not going. He said, Arey, why you are worried? Dane dane par likha hai khane wale ka naam. Hindi it is said, on every grain of rice it is already written who will eat that grain of rice. Huh? It means I am staying here and I am eating for this whole month because my name was. That fellow said, yeah, it is written on grain, but it's not written on the whole bag. So when somebody comes and they're supposed to go and they don't go, we are disconnected. So vanchati means want. Na kinchid vanchati means crave, longs, wants, desires, like that, right? So in this case, it is negative also. He doesn't want anything, not want anything. Both things have to be included. See, like for example, I came here for this yajna. I hope it doesn't rain in Georgia, in Savannah, So this is a negative want. I hope it doesn't rain. I want it not to rain. So he has no positive want, no negative want also. Because our negative wants can be just as strong as our positive wants. You think about that, Negative wants can be just as strong. I don't want my wife to go there in that party. Some party is going on, One old lady is living at the end of the village. The whole village organized a picnic. And they forgot to invite her. On the last day for the picnic, everybody is loading up on the buses and everything, they are going to picnic. Then they realize, hey, that Amma, we did not invite her. So they sent 2 representatives. They go quickly before the buses leave. Go tell her to come to this picnic. She said, no, I am not coming. Why? Because I already prayed for rain. How whatever desire people have, I want rain should come. Then it should destroy this. That picnic. All our desires. Vanchati. Person craves this, craves that, longs for this, longs for that. That positive, negative, any type, isn't it? It means to say something good also. I'm craving for. Then also something negative. I pray so that other people will have sorrow. We go there, take out all their food to eat. That time it comes down, 5 inches of rain in 1 hour. The whole picnic washed out. Any time. This is called vanchati. So this person who discovers this infinite love, infinite ananda, na kinchit vanchati. Because he has found the source of all happiness. What will make him happy anymore? What else in this world will make him happy? Nothing. In fact, all happiness in the world are caused by the instrumentation of something else. All worldly happiness is caused by something. This is uncaused happiness. So he discovers uncaused happiness. Na shochati. He doesn't weep anymore. No more sorrows. In Bhagavad Gita, the Bhagavan Shankaracharya introduces Gita saying that Bhagavan Shri Krishna is giving Bhagavad Gita to remove our shoka moha. Gita is given to remove shoka. Shoka means sorrow. When we say that we are in pursuit of happiness, we only want happiness. The other way to say that, the negative way of saying that, is we are trying to escape sorrow. They are one and same. Two things are one and same. Pursuit of happiness really means running away from sorrow. Otherwise, why you will pursue happiness then? If there is no pursuit of happiness, that means there is no running away from sorrow. If there is pursuit of happiness, it means my present state is somehow, I'm feeling sorrowful, I'm feeling less complete, I'm feeling incomplete, something. Therefore, I'm running after happiness. So it's really running away from sorrow. But this person who has discovered his infinite self, which is of nature of infinite love, infinite ananda also, which is immortal. Na shochati. There is no sorrow in the world for him. So, even if he gets cancer like Sri Ramana Maharshi or Ram Vishnu Paramahamsa, even if he gets that, still there is no sorrow, because he sees that he is a witness of this whole Prakriti. Prakriti is just playing its game and he becomes a witness. He becomes a spectator. Like that. Na shochati, nothing to weep about. Then, na dveshti. He doesn't hate anything. He accepts all things. There is no hate or dislike. This is a better word. Na dveshti. He doesn't dislike anything in the world. We are the ones who have likes and dislikes. And that is the source of all our sorrow also. A great amount of our sorrow. Likes and dislike. We like this, we don't like this. And life is wonderful also. Bhagavan made this world so lovely, I tell you. What? Which we like, that we don't get. What we don't like, that only we get. When you go there to Publix, I don't want to meet, there's a Ramaswamy is there on Thursdays. But I have to go, today's Thursday, I must go there because I want such and such thing for my kitchen. But I hope that I don't meet that Ramaswamy there, I hope that he goes in morning, I'm going to go afternoon. And when you're walking, that door open, automatic door. That who is coming out in front of you? Ramaswamy, face to face there. What you don't want, that only you will. Yeah, life is like that. You wash your car, nice, polish and everything. And you don't want rain on that day. The whole week it did not rain. That day only it will rain. It's an amazing thing. So, because we have likes and dislikes, we want this to happen, we want that. I like when my car looks shiny. I don't like this Ramaswamy. So we have likes and dislikes, but what you don't like, that only we don't want. Naramate, yes, he doesn't revel. Whatever reveling is spoken about here, when you win the Super Bowl and everybody go on the street and they revel, but they revel with some other type of bottled spirituality. That type of it. Naramate, he doesn't revel like that. Otherwise, in Bhajan Govindam, Bhagavan Shankaracharya tells very nicely, he has a different type of reveling. Yogarato va, bhogarato va, sakarato va, sangavihina, yasya brahmani ramate chittam Nandati nandati nandatyeva Bhaja govindam bhaja govindam Govindam bhaja muramate Bhaja govindam bhaja govindam Govindam bhaja muramate Govindam bhaja muramate. So the ramate word here, yasya brahmani ramate chittam. Here also, naramate. He doesn't. So how can one shastra be say there he revels in Brahman, or who revels in Brahman? And this shastra is telling he doesn't revel. That means the meaning of the word revel is different. We revel in worldly things. When we get something worldly, huh? If we hear some news, I won the lottery. There we start reveling. So much so you may get heart attack also. You revel till he got heart attack. Right? One man was standing in front of his television and he saw his wife's lottery was there on the table. So he's looking and that drawing came on the television. Numbers. And when he checked, my God, his wife had won 10 million. He couldn't believe it. And one other thought struck him. His wife is a heart patient, you know. She suffers from a heart problem. So when she comes home, if I tell her this news, she might get heart attack. How to tell? So even a local Pandit was there. He went and told that Pandit, look, my wife won that 10 million. How to tell her? Tell me, what are Shastras there? He wants to hear Shastras also now. That Pandit said, look, don't worry about this thing. When she comes home, you send her here, I will break that news to her. No problem. So when that wife came home, that husband said, please go quickly, that Pandit wants to see you there. He gave a message, go see him. So she went there. That Pandit, Amma, listen, this is just a hypothetical question. Eh? Suppose you won $10 million in the lottery. What would you do? He said, Baba, 10 million? I'll give 5 million to you. He got heart attack and he fell. We revel in worldly things like that only. We hear this thing, that thing, so much so that he got. But this person who discovers the supreme devotion, or supreme love, the word is prema, supreme love, or this supreme ananda, is the blissful state. That person, naramate, he doesn't revel in all worldly things like this, you know. You give him 5 million, 10 million, or he loses 5 million. Or one sadhu, he was sitting on Ganga, I told you this story already. He was sitting on Ganga like this. So he had one devotee who was a jeweler. So that fellow used to travel all over the world, you know, buying expensive jewelry and all of this. So one day he collected from Turkey 2 of the most coveted pearls. And he thought, oh, rare pearls. Everybody wanted this, he got it. Better I go and give this to my Guruji. So he went there and Guruji was sitting on banks of Ganga and he gave these pearls to him. Now what do gurus want with pearls? What do you do with pearls? So, just clumsily he held those pearls without any due care, attention, because it really doesn't mean anything to him. But while holding it, now one of that pearl fell in Ganga. So that Guruji said, oh, chi, gai. And nothing, no other reaction. That man was beside himself in misery. What did Guruji, it fell. Guruji, yes, fell. What to do? Some things fall. So he quickly dived down there. That bhakta, a devotee, Shishya, he dived down to retrieve that. Guruji was looking on him. He dived down there quickly to retrieve that. He searched, came a few times, took breath, went back down to a few times, searched, he couldn't find it. He said, Guruji, I can't find it. Would you tell me where did it fall? That Guruji took that other one right there. there only. Means nothing. Na kangshati, na shochati, na dveshti, na ramate. He doesn't revel in any of you. We revel and we treasure things, We treasure certain things in our life and all. We keep it, and for many generations also. And we tell, but this has come from my great-grandfather, great-great-grandfather. I was taking a haircut in Banaras at one time. Listen to this nice thing. So that barber, he was telling, this work which we are doing, Khandani. It's coming down from generation. I am barber for many generations. My grandfather, like that, great-grandfather and all. So I told, then I was looking at his, he has one of those on the table. Long ago, now they still have them. They used to have a shaving instrument with a handle and a long blade. That blade doesn't change, you just sharpen it. Yeah? And whoever comes you shave with that blade only. So I said, but that blade is a very nice blade, a shaving blade you have there. In Trinidad we call shaving set. I said, a very nice shaving set you have. He said, yes, sir, that also was coming down from my great-grandfather to my grandfather to my father to me. I said, but that blade looks fairly new, so many years of sharpening, that blade would have been worn out now. He said, no, we have changed that blade. It has been changed a few times. Then I said, but that handle also is looking new. He said, handle also we have changed. The blade is changed, handle is changed, but he still says this has been coming down for. Now you see that if you really think there, what has been coming down for generation in his head is a concept, isn't it? Not really the blade or the handle. That blade or handle has been changed many times. But what has been coming down is the concept of a shaving set. But in that also, he has joy. That is, it come from my great-grandfather. Even though there's nothing substantial which has really come from. People revel in things which are not substantial also. This is an amazing thing. You please see this thing. Some person may think that he has some guna, some good quality. He thinks that is a good quality and he revels in that thing. He getting joy from it. When everybody else thinks he has no good quality. It's an amazing thing, this human being. Ramate word you should think, He could revel in something which he has. He has also capability of reveling in something which he does not have. Like he thinks he's such a good bowler. Every time he hit for 6 only. But he thinks I am such a good off spinner. Off spinner, you don't know, everybody knows cricketer. Yeah. And he revels, I am such a good spinner. He reveling in that. Amazing thing what this human being can revel in. Revel in anything. Now, glasses gone.
Ganga.
Ganga, yeah. One good thing I was not reveling in that. It was on the side. Couldn't go too far. This other word is very strange now. Na utsahi bhavati. Utsaha word in Sanskrit actually means zeal and enthusiasm. So he has no zeal and enthusiasm. So he becomes like a dead man or what? This person who discovers supreme love, supreme prem, supreme ananda, na utsahi bhavati. He has no zeal, no enthusiasm, no nothing. It just means that he has no zeal or enthusiasm thereafter for anything selfish like which we have. But his zeal and enthusiasm for helping the world becomes infinite. Therefore you see, Bhagavan Shankaracharya, I realize so. He has such a zeal and enthusiasm. He walks up and down India, east, west, north, south. For who? For who? For us. So his zeal and enthusiasm for humanity becomes infinite. But his zeal and enthusiasm which we have, when we want to acquire something worldly, we have such great zeal, isn't it? We muster up in our hearts such great enthusiasm because it's something personal. So that personal zeal and enthusiasm he doesn't have anymore. That is me. He has great zeal and enthusiasm for working for humanity only. All great sages, see how they have worked relentlessly for humanity. See how Gurudev, 40 years he traveled his globe. Sometimes in a wheelchair if he has to go also, he goes. Boy, there is nothing personal to get there. See, just now, that deceased president of India, Kalam, now they did a stock taking of his possessions after he passed away. His possessions were nothing. Few little trinkets. Yet, if he passed away way up in northeastern India, there he had gone for the benefit of who? For the benefit of other people. So he has great zeal and enthusiasm for that. But he doesn't have any great zeal and enthusiasm to keep anything for him, for himself. Life is for the benefit of others. That is the idea. Then, see how interesting words Narada uses. In Sutra number 6, he is describing this person who discovers this supreme love. He says, Yajñātva Matto bhavati Stabdho bhavati Atma ramo bhavati. Now see, just now, the topic which is started here, Athato bhaktim vyakhyāsyāmaha. So the topic is bhakti. And he says here, Yajñātva, having known that. So he's not saying having experienced that, he says having known that. So what it means really is having experienced that. Having experienced that supreme devotion. So in this word, there's a confirmation of what all the saints and sages say. What is that confirmation? That at this level, bhakti and jnana, they are one and the same. Because the word he uses, the root here is jnana. Jnana means to know. To know in Sanskrit. Like jnanam, knowledge. So at the highest level, when a person really comes to discover himself and discovers supreme love, that at that level, jnana and bhakti, they are one and same. Only people, they go on arguing uselessly that jnana is different from bhakti. What can happen is you can have different types of practices, but even in the practices, we must make an amalgamation between both of them. It means if you are studying Upanishads, studying Gita, studying Vivek Churamani, you must also study with a lot of love. And if you are practicing bhakti with having kirtan and bhajan and all the nam, japa, this, that, seva, you must also do that with knowledge. We just don't do blindly. Blind devotion, or you just do without thinking. You do like a machine. Machine don't get moksha. It would have been nice if they got machine. See, I remember a nice thing I had told before. That I had gone to some temple in more than one place I have seen. That pujari is there alone in that temple. And at 6 p.m. he has to do arati. That is his job. Do arati at 6 p.m. At 6 p.m. there is no devotee. It has some old sampradaya which has outlived its relevance. This is another big disease society has. The old sampradaya, it has outlived its relevance. So they have so many temples everywhere and one pujari is there. Nobody comes. And they will not, we have some sort of taboo on closing down temples also, isn't it? All sorts of people don't have rationality and all. They just hold on to. So he's there alone now. Murti is there. So he has to light that arti and that bell, and he has to do. But in the old days when a lot of devotees were there, they used to sing that arti along with him. Then somebody used to play the drums at the back, and he used to be. Now then nobody to play the drum. So India is a place of devices, India is the land of devices. India has a device for everything. Today somebody was telling how the fellow in the phone booth, he made a hole in the coin and tied a string through the hole, send the money down inside the phone to make a phone call, and when it's finished, just pull out back the money and go back home. Devices. India has masters at devices. Device for everything. So they have made a mechanical device to play the drum. And here in front by the altar where the pujari is standing there, ready to, switch is right there. So when he lights that diya, lights that lamp to do that arati, he flicks that switch and drum is playing. Now you think that drum which is doing worship of Bhagwan every day at 6 o'clock, the drum will get moksha. That's a machine. Machine plays religiously, arati time. But machine, a person who does anything mechanical, without thinking, without contemplation, without, that person is mechanical. And a mechanical thing doesn't get moksha. Machine doesn't get. So, all my devotional practices, if they have become mechanical and I have not reflected, ruminated, pondered, contemplated on what I am doing and how it fits into a grand scheme and what my goal is, and what is the nature of Bhagwan which I am worshipping and all that. If he hasn't pondered on all of those things, that bhakti is just mechanical, or he is driven by fear, which again is mechanical only. A lot of bhakti today is driven by fear. People don't do it out of fear. So, at this level I am telling that bhakti and jnana is one and same. But I am also telling you second point now, that even the practice of bhakti and jnana, they have to use each other. You can't have the exclusive practice of any one of them. Jnana practice without bhakti, that is madness. I must have deep love and devotion for, suppose Shankaracharya has written Bhaja Govindam, which he has written. Suppose I am studying that Bhaja Govindam, right? I must have love for Bhagwan Shankaracharya, who is the author of this book. I must have love for this sampradaya and tradition and teaching which he is teaching. So that love for the Guru, love for the teaching which he is given, love for the language in which it is written, love for his methodology and style and all of that thing. I must have. If I'm just doing this thing from a purely academic, intellectual standpoint with no love, then what you'll have, you'll get a PhD in that also. You'll get a PhD. But where it will take that person? A person who has a PhD in anything doesn't guarantee? Yeah, nothing. He has a PhD but more miserable than before he had the PhD. Because I realize now I have a PhD because I did a thesis on Bhaja Govindam and nobody wants to hire me now. Before that I had MA in literature. They would have hired me to be English teacher. Now when I go out for a hire, they say you are overqualified. Because you have PhD, we can't pay a PhD person, We can't afford to pay you. It's possible that with PhD you become more miserable. And doing a PhD in anything doesn't guarantee any happiness. So I have to study that thing with great love, with great devotion, with thinking why it was written. That was written for moksha. It's moksha shastra, isn't it? To remove moha mudgara. All such things. And study it with great love and devotion. So there is intellectual application and there is the application of the heart. If I am studying Vedantic Shastra, and if I am the path of Bhakti, I come from a Bhakti tradition, then I also still have to study all about the nature of the Lord. And you see, our Ramanujacharya and all the great acharyas, Madhavacharya, they all studied all Upanishads also, and did commentaries also. So even though they may be bhaktas and all the bhakti tradition follows that, still they have studied all Shastra. So bhakti must be accompanied by jnana, and jnana must be accompanied by bhakti. Therefore, yaj jnatva, having known that reality, having known that truth, having known that absolute self, that yaj jnatva word is used here, very significant word. Having known that, then what happens? Matto bhavati. That person becomes intoxicated. Intoxicated, you will see our Gurudev put in bracket, they are mad. Great devotees, great jnanis, everybody think they are mad, because they don't live in the conventional way in which we live. So people think that they are mad. Ramate balum mattava deva in Bhajagovindam, he says. It means he revels like a child. So a big grown man looks like he's living like a child, or like a mad person, or like a person who is drunk. Unmatta. Same matta. Same. He's in a state of pure bliss all the time. And so what appeals to you will not appeal to. Then you're wondering why is like this devotee is thinking this guru is mad. Most precious pearl, he doesn't pay any attention. Any other person in the world would have paid so much of attention. And if he throws the second one, he's more mad. The ordinary person will think. Yes. So, matta, he is like a mad person only. Then, stabdho bhavati. He becomes, here stabdha translation is given as silent, quiet. The mind becomes absolutely quiet. Because why? Again, it's connected to what we were talking about before. If our mind is noisy, it is because our mind is racing, searching for something. Searching for what? Happiness, peace. All the monkeys in Ramayana are searching for Sitaji. Sitaji represents peace, happiness. Our mind, with all its countless thoughts, there were trillions of monkeys. Valmiki ji describes trillions of monkeys. And how many thoughts we have? Trillions. So they are all in search of Sita ji. All our thoughts are actually in search of one thing only. Happiness, peace, tranquility. That. So, he says, having found that, having known that, yet jnatva, stabdha bhavati. If I have found what I was looking for, then what preoccupation the mind will have? No. I found what I was looking for. And not only that, I found it in infinite measure. I was finding happiness before, but little bit, Little happiness here, little happiness there, little happiness there. But now I found it in infinite measure. Now, it becomes stabdha, shant, peaceful. Now there is no pursuit anymore. Now only revel in that. Yes, ya brahmani ravate chittam. Then, atma ramo bhavati. He revels in the self. Atma ramo bhavati. He revels in that self only. Means he revels in his own self. Before he was looking for his happiness there. Now he's found happiness here, and he goes on reveling at home. At home means in Om. In Om, which is in his own self. Atma ramo bhavati. Atma means the self. He revels in his own self now. Then, next one, let us see. Gurudev has divided them into sections in this book. In the presentation in Bhagavatam, there is no section or anything. They all come in one. And each person will also be able to divide them into different sections. It goes on telling more the other qualities also about this bhakti. So just now it was telling what will be the result for the person who discovers that supreme love. So he will not revel in anything worldly anymore. He will not hate anything. So it's talking about the person. But that word bhakti itself, it goes now into that word. Not the person so much, but into the word itself. Of course, you can't divorce the word from person, because the word has no relevance apart from a person. That thing is of which nature? Again, bhakti, he says, see here. Sanakamayamana.
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 Nirodha rupatvat.
Nirodha rupatvat.
Nirodha rupatvat.
Nirodha rupatvat.
It means to say, Nirodha rupatvat means 5 cases given. In Sanskrit it's called. So it is what we call as causal. Due to the fact, Nirodha rupatvat. Due to the fact that this supreme love is of the nature of renunciation. Here Nirodha word means renunciation. You'll have to take it. Because later on, in a couple more sutras further, the word is very clearly taken to mean renunciation. So this supreme love, how is it of the nature of renunciation? It is because all the time I was finding my happiness and my joy from things outside. Now I'm finding my happiness and joy from inside. That means what? I have renounced all of things. So it is of nature of renunciation. I am not running after this thing, after that thing. Just now I said, na vanchati. He is not craving this thing, not craving that thing. So it is of nature of renunciation. Really, when I have come to discover the infinite source of joy, I renounce all other sources of joy that time. It really doesn't mean anything to me. So because, now see, this is the word. Because it is of the nature of renunciation, nakamayamana. There is no desire for anything. This devotion is like this. This love is like this. Once I have discovered it, there is no desire for anything else outside. Because in the discovery of that supreme love, I have really renounced everything. Actually, this is the 2 words are just 2 ways of saying one and the same thing. Nakamayamana and Nirodha rupatvat. There are 2 ways of saying one thing. What? In discovery of the supreme love, I have renounced everything. If I have renounced everything, therefore that means what? I have no desire for anything. The person doesn't desire anything else in this world. Until this supreme love is discovered, we will go on desiring. Now, one more thing. The path to reach this state of supreme love requires renunciation from the beginning itself. It means to say, I have to start slowly renouncing so many of the things which I know already. So, I told in the past, what you have to do is you have to start making list in your own personal life. And when you will start, when you will do, how much you will renounce, that each person's own personal choice. There is nothing in Shastra which say, okay, when you reach 20, you have to renounce 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. When you reach 25, then 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. There is no such thing in Shastra which gives age and date and that you renounce this, renounce that. No such thing will be given. Each person will have to chart out his own path, his own course, his own timing and all that kind of thing. That's all personal things. So, but what we have to do, whichever age, whichever time, this is how it has to be done like this. All the things in the world, we have to, which we are doing, right? Which human beings do. We see 2 lists. So one list will be those things which are legal and those things which are illegal. Because there are two things in the world, right? Legal and illegal. Now, with all those things which are illegal, we drop them. Yeah. Now we only are left with things which are legal. Right? Now things which are legal we bring in front of us. Illegal we are dropped. Legal we bring here. Now these things which are legal, some of them will be moral, some of them will be immoral also. Correct or not? They are perfectly legal, but totally immoral. Yeah? So we have to make a list now. All legal things which are immoral and which are moral. Moral means what? Good for me, good for others, good in general. Immoral, it might be good only for certain people or good certain times or good for certain things, but not totally good. And look here, smoking and drinking and gambling and all of these things, they're perfectly legal, isn't it? Perfectly legal. But really, smoking, how is it going to be good for me? It might be good for the economy. For the IRS, because they get good sin tax, right? But good for me, that isn't. Or taking any drugs or this or that. Now marijuana has become legal in some places, isn't it? But not good, because it distorts my mental, intellectual capabilities. So though it has become legal, it is not moral. So legal things we split into two: moral, immoral. Now we cast out all moral things, immoral things. Keep only moral, and bring moral in front. So something is moral, we're not going to bring harm to me or harm to others and all that kind of thing. It's good. Then still we have to ask, Arey, this might be moral, it is okay, it is good, but is it good for me? And just some things are very, very difficult to determine whether it is moral or immoral. Then we take guidance of the rishis and all. For example, in this country, you ask anybody, eating beef is totally moral. Right? Eating beef is totally moral. And we really have to ask in a very unbiased way, and ask sincerely in our heart. People will also see that it is not moral. I say, all the people who eat beef here, if you take them and you show them the treatment the cattle is getting and how they kill these animals in the slaughterhouse and what goes on, the people will immediately stop, I tell you. They see that. That's why they don't want to go. The kind of treatment those animals, nobody wants to go. Or you tell, okay, you kill the animal. You tell. He'll not. He'll eat, but he doesn't want to kill. That means there's some gap, some chasm between his conviction, his belief and his actions. There's a gap. He feels that it is moral and he is eating. But when he sees that, he realizes, oh, something is wrong, because I myself will not kill it. So there are some gaps missing, some things missing inside it. So now, things may be in society held as moral, but each person has to think, whether it is moral or not. So like that, all of this sort of reflection and pondering. Now see, that is why the part of spirituality cannot just be, you sing Ram, 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 play some Majira and all that, it is over. That is not. How much of thinking each sadhak spiritual person has to do? It is incumbent on every human being to think that he is privileged because he has the ability to think. One who doesn't think. See, a cow cannot say, I'm fed up eating grass. From tomorrow I'm going KFC. Or the lion cannot say, I'm fed up eating meat. From tomorrow I'm going to graze. I'm going out grazing. They are born with certain disposition. They have to stick to that. But a human being has that great privilege or not. I will stop eating this and start eating that. He can very well determine. Only we are blessed with that, privileged with that ability. So, we have to start choosing all our actions and becoming a fully, total, complete human being. Then, we will come to this stage of discovering this supreme devotion. We have to start someplace. It's just that wouldn't happen by itself, Even if I pray to God every day, oh Lord, give me supreme devotion. Supreme love. Parama Prem Rupa. But I do no thinking, no reflection, pursue no knowledge, no nothing. I just pray. Then you will ask, who are you praying to? Uparwala. The one who is in the sky. You see, because he has really never thought about the nature of God. He just heard from somebody, God is in the sky. One man, he had a little altar, by his door, like where his chair is, he had a little altar there, and he had a cross of Jesus Christ there. And Jesus Christ on the cross. And Sunday morning, he has his umbrella and his hat right below, and his shoes. So on Sunday morning, he walks there, puts on his hat, takes up his umbrella, puts on his shoe, and then he tells to Jesus Christ. He says, Lord, pardon me now, I have to leave you alone, I have to go to church. What type of understanding of God and all? And he feels that God is here, and he's not in the church. Or some such thing. Or some people feel he's in the church and not here. Reverse thing. Once one devotee passing, and he saw a man sitting in the front steps of the church and he's crying. Jesus is passing, and he saw a man sitting on the front step of the church and he's crying. So he asked, what happened? Why are you crying? He said, oh, they excommunicated me. They threw me out from that church. I can't go anymore. Jesus said, why are you crying? They threw me out also and I'm not crying. I'm fine. It's like this, people have all sorts of crazy ideas and concepts about God and what He is and where He is and all that. So much so that any true concept of God, He also gets thrown on. People have crazy ideas of God in their head. So, we have to really, really think and study and reflect, ponder, and do sadhana and all of it. Then we'll reach that state. Then, only after reaching that state, it is just not going to happen just, by wishing, fanciful thinking and this and that. Lot of sadhana is required. Then when we reach that state, nakamayamana, there will be no desire. But initially there has to be some, people say, mumukshutva also is some desire. Na? Moksha is also some desire. Yes, it is a driving desire that will get rid of all desires. And itself also will get removed eventually. Because if you have a desire for moksha and then you get moksha, then what you will desire after that? There is no desire after that. It is the desire that gets rid of all other desires, and in the end gets rid of itself also. That is a special type of desire. Mumukshutvam, desire for moksha. Bhagavan Shankaracharya gives an example in Atma Bodha. Kataka renu what? What do you mean kataka renu what? It means there is some type of, in the old days, they used to have some sort of kataka nut, and they used to make a powder with that nut. And you take the powder like this, and if there is a bucket of water here, you sprinkle that powder on the top of the bucket like this. That's a special nut. That sprinkling of powder when it gets in contact with the water, it forms a nice film on the top of the water. And it also at the same time becomes heavy. And because it becomes heavy, it sinks down to the bottom of the bucket. And while it is sinking down, that film takes down all sediments with it. So all the sediments go down to the bottom and they are trapped under the layer of that film. And so now the water on the top is very pure. So you just take a scoop and scoop it out. So you say, if you want to purify the water, why are you putting powder? The powder is of a special nature. It will remove the sediments and get rid of itself also. It goes down to the bottom. So this mumukshutvam desire for moksha is a special desire. It gets rid of all other desires and gets rid of itself also in the end. The person becomes free from all desires. So that desire for moksha has to be kept until it goes away all by itself. The other ones will not go away by themselves, you know. You have to work on them. But mukshitvam will go away all by itself. So when he says na kamayavana, then what it means here? The person has no more desires anymore. That means it is talking about a state of enlightenment. No? But I told that state can only be reached when I start with all these small sadhanas and work my way up. Now, just now, it said that renunciation, total renunciation, brings me to a state where there is no karma anymore. Now that renunciation is described here. What is renunciation? Renunciation is in Sutra number 8. Nirodhastu Lokaveda Vyapara Nyasaha Nirodha. Renunciation means what? Nirodha was, I told you in the previous verse, in the previous sutra. Nirodha there means renunciation. So what is renunciation? That is question will arise. He says renunciation is Loka Veda Vyapara Nyasa. Nyasa means giving up. Giving up what? Nyasa and sannyasa, they come from same root. Nyasa, if you look in sannyasa, the word nyasa will be there, renunciation. Nyasa means to renounce, to give up, to drop. Drop what? Loka Veda Vyapara. This sounds like a very strong line. All dealings with the world and with Vedas. You have to give up all Vedas also. So what it means is, all worldly dealings, Vyapara. Vyapara means, you see what, total, all secular and religious activities. All secular and religious activities. So you mean a devotee has to give up religious activities? So it means, first let us see loka, secular. So all secular things, if I give up, what will happen to me? I'll die. I have to give up eating and walking and exercising and sleeping. These are all worldly things. No? It means all kamya karma. Kamya karma means all worldly things which I do with so much of desire. Yes, strong desires. So that type of karma has to be given up. Loka. Also, you can take that further. I spoke about it before. All illegal things, all immoral things. They are all worldly things like that. We have to give it up. Otherwise, we can make the greatest worldly thing into a great ritual also. Human beings are known for that. A worldly thing can become a ritual. In our Trinidad, there's a coffee house. You're like in Starbucks here. Starbucks. You know the person who made that coffee house? He thought about it so much. And you know what he calls it there? Rituals. Because taking a coffee every morning is like a ritual or not? Huh? He calls this thing rituals. And that has become so popular like Starbucks. Amazing. I mean, how much thought he has given to that. So we can make any worldly thing also into a ritual. Amazing. This is some person, he'll sit on his rocking chair in the morning and he has the morning newspaper. Ritual or not? Every morning is a ritual, isn't it? What he means to say is morning rituals like that, even if we are doing it right, we should lift our mind to a higher realm. Not just this is the level of my practice every morning. It should not just end with that. I should have other things like before that, if suppose I'm doing it okay. But before that I should have, some period of devotion in the morning, some period of meditation, contemplation, japa, that kind of thing. Not just get up every morning, sit on the rocking chair, have coffee on the side here, and then the newspaper, and that is my only ritual. That is called loka. Totally secular. So what he means is not that we should give up all this secular thing totally like that, as long as it is accompanied by other forms of sadhana in the morning and all, or preceded by. Then the next word is a very difficult thing. It says Veda Vyapara also. All religious activities. So he has to give up all religious things. Means even all the puja, this, that, ityadi. He has to give up. So this has to be taken to mean as the person proceeds along the spiritual path, as a person is proceeding along the spiritual path, then all the, you know that, especially, other people's religion I don't know so well, but my religion I know. There is a big industry when it comes to mala and sweets and agarbatti and this, and you go there and you line up. You get that mala, flower, agarbatti, ityadi, isn't it, sweets and all. You go there with that in your hand and you line up there and you give it to the pujari and he makes a offering and he gives back some to you, and then people go doing that on a regular basis, and it's all kamya karma only. Kamya karma or not. You'll see, because he goes there desiring that God will give me good health, God will give, and if the exam time is coming, he goes every day. No, kamya karma or not. Regularly he goes once a week, but at exam time he goes more. Yeah, every day. So this type of religious activities that have some worldly thing in mind, that is what he means. Because loka word comes first. Loka means worldly. So using the Vedas for all worldly things. This is a vast industry. Use the Vedas for worldly things. Hire this one and hire that one and do this to get some. A person is supposed to have evolved out of that. It's a phase everybody will go through. That is there also. It is truth. A phase everybody will go through. But a real sadhak who evolves on this path is supposed to evolve out of that. I have so much of higher understanding of God, so much of shraddha. I've done so much of study that I know that things in this world only happen by the laws of karma. If I want something, if I want to pass that exam, study hard with great sincerity and love. I will pass that exam. I don't have to have all of these rituals and this and that to pass the exam. There are so many atheists who don't believe in God also and they pass. Isn't it? Where is all this offering and agarbatti and this and that over? They don't do, and they also pass. So a higher understanding should be there in my mind. Not that I'm using Vedas and using all this puja and using all of these things to get all worldly things. If you want anything worldly, Bhagavan has given Jo jasa karai so tasa phalu chakha. As you sow, so shall you reap. So if there's a worldly thing there, there's so much of action you have to do, just do it, you'll get it. Why you have to go and use Bhagwan and use prayers and Vedas and this and that to get that? There's no need. Other people got it without any Veda. They don't even know there's such a thing as Vedas. You see? So, not using spirituality and using Vedas and using Shastras and all of these things to have worldly gains. That is what he means to say. Spirituality is really meant to attain the highest goal. All other things in the world you can get without spirituality. That is a proven fact. You can get anything in this world. So just as you may have studied in your tradition and all that thing, and you pray to God and you think that God help you and all, there are so many. For everyone who did that, there is another one who is an atheist who did the same thing, means who studied just like you and he also passed. So that is proof that you don't need all of the spirituality and all. For passing means for getting something worldly, we are talking only. Don't extend that to mean other things. For getting any worldly things, you don't need Vedas. You don't need Vedas and this Shastras and Puja and all that kind of thing. After you get the worldly thing, if you don't have a spiritual background, that worldly thing can ruin you. That is a different matter altogether. We are talking for getting it. So that is the meaning here. Nyasa means, or sannyasa, or renunciation, or nirodha, which is defining. And nirodha means really giving up all of these practices which we have, which make us feel that with spirituality only I can get this worldly thing, this benefit from the world and all that kind of thing. Giving up that practice. Any worldly thing you want, look, there's a very simple law. Just work. You will? Work diligently, work with care, with attention, fulfilling all the requirements. That thing will come. Don't use spirituality for worldly things. That's the idea in that. So, nyasa means really. Then, the renunciation, continuing the explanation of the nature of renunciation, he says, see now this is number 9. Just now he said this renunciation he described as not using it, Shastras for worldly things. Tasmin ananyata. Tasmin ananyata. Tadvirodhishu. Udasinatacha. So, not using Shastras, Vedas, this for all worldly gains, and having, see, Tasmin, in that supreme reality, Ananyata, single-pointed oneness or devotion, single-pointed devotion to that reality. Tat virodhishu udasinatacha. So, in continuing this definition of renunciation, it's trying to explain what is this renunciation. He says, first having single-pointed love only for God, only for that reality. That means what? I don't have love for anything worldly. So that is first part of renunciation. I don't have any love for any worldly thing. Second thing, anything, tad virodhishu, that which is opposed to God, I have udasinata. This is a very nice word. I tell you something. If you are sitting here and you are meditating on Brahman, right? Sitting meditating nicely on Brahman. But your mind is always straying. Your mind is straying away. And after 5 minutes, it's gone. Then you realize, oh, it is gone. And you bring it back. Which normally is the case. Just the 5 minutes may vary from person to person. So you're sitting trying to meditate on Brahman. Mind gone for 5 minutes. Then only you realize, oh, it has gone. You bring it back. Then you sit there. 2 minutes it stays. Again it is gone. 2-3 minutes. Then again you bring it back. Now, that wandering mind, which wanders away, right? That is opposed to meditation. It's called virodha, right? Here. It is opposed to meditation. It is not allowing you to meditate properly because it is wandering away. Many sadhaks have a tendency at that point to get angry with that mind, or to get frustrated with that mind, or to get disappointed with that mind, disaffected, disillusioned, lose hope, all sorts of things. I've been trying for the last half an hour, nothing happens. Swamiji, nothing is happening, I give it up. Huh? One man was saying, I used to try to meditate, and my mind used to wander. So it's wandering everywhere, so I give up meditation. Otherwise, we have to give up wandering mind, not meditation. Instead of giving up the wandering mind, we give up meditation. So this udasinata, what is being spoken about here, is when I sit there, even though that wandering mind is opposed to my meditation, I don't get angry with it. I don't get disillusioned. I don't judge it. Udasinata means I just sit quietly and watch it. Oh, this mind has gone again. What a mind. Otherwise, at that point, many people get frustrated with that mind. So frustration is not udasinata. Udasinata means I sit aloof without being affected. That is the nature of the mind. That is what it does. Let it do. Udasinata. Sit. Ut-asina. It comes from sad-dhatu in Sanskrit. To sit. Sit where? Ut. Above. And watch. So the mind is doing this, is doing that, and I should not allow myself to become a victim to the machinations of the mind. It likes to do this, it likes to do that. I will just watch it. And I will not be, my state of mind will not go into joy side or sorrow side. That is the meaning of udasina. I will just watch the mind, let it do whatever it does. I sit aloof without being affected. So, he says, that thing is called as renunciation. What? Now I renounce the world, have single-pointed devotion to God. And anything which is opposing that devotion, if somebody comes in your way and opposes you with regard to that person or thing, you have udasinata. In English, how you will translate udasinata, non-affection. I'm not affected by whatever comes and, so we say in English, puts a spoke in the wheel in my spiritual path. If anything is putting a spoke in the wheel in my spiritual path, don't be affected. That is the idea. So, this is part of renunciation. That means, if I am affected, that means I have not renounced something. Something is there which I have not renounced. It means I have a strong desire for something and that is not happening. So I am becoming affected. But renunciation means we are supposed to give up desire also, isn't it? So if I am becoming affected, that means there is a desire. That means I have not renounced. So in this part of bhakti also, which is there in the shastras, this part of bhakti also demands so much of careful analysis and thought and witnessing, isn't it? Seeing how the mind works and all that. This is bhakti at its highest level. Now the first word which is there is ananyata. We'll start back from there tomorrow. Ananyata word is very nice. Ananyas chintayanto mam. Bhagavan talks in Bhagavad Gita, we'll see tomorrow. Alright, so tomorrow morning class is there, regular class at Dr. Balaji's house. You all know that house, nah? Morning class at 7:30.
7:30.
Yes. There's a half an hour grace. Not 7 o'clock, but 7. Okay. We have passed the time, but maybe I can take one question. If there's anybody who wants to ask one thing only, we can take one question per day maybe. Yes.
Swamiji, is total renunciation is possible or practical in this world?
So renunciation, when we speak about physical renunciation, and we talk about mental renunciation also, right? Physical renunciation is not possible. Physical renunciation of things. And even a sannyasi has to eat and sleep and have clothes and this and that. No? So physical renunciation is not possible. Mental renunciation, which is giving up totally the feeling of mind. In this world nothing belongs to, that is possible. Even this body, mind, intellect doesn't belong to me. That is possible. So mental renunciation is possible. Physical, no. Alright. We'll chant just for 1 minute and then